Hey guys, Matt here. So welcome to this week's portfolio update. I like to show my portfolio once a week or just about once a week or so, as I believe that sets me apart from other stock YouTubers, and that I like to show my receipts. But anyways, let's get into it. Now, I want to start things off right here, a little bit differently, because I want to show my portfolio throughout the week. Because, since the 3rd, everything looked like it was going on its way up. Everything was very happy. I was getting ready to report an actual increase in my amount this week. And then, since the 9th and the 10th, it just fell right back off a cliff. And now we are down to $63,660.83. Not good. So yeah, we managed to even drop from last week. Now, this portfolio does look pretty scary with some very obvious losses. ARK's down, GEVO's down, Palantir's down, AT&T's down. Now, believe it or not, GEVO is kind of on its way back up. I think last week or the week before, we were approaching 40% losses. Yeah, it was getting bad. So we are on our way back up, but is that going to continue? Is the drop going to continue? We'll have to see next week, because I think the Fed has another meeting on the monetary policy and all that stuff, and we'll see what happens to the stocks after that. Now, if we go to my investment activity, the only thing I did this week was I bought ARK. Now, I did mention that normally I put about $250 a week into Palantir and $100 into GEVO. However, I decided to take the week off and put my money into ARK instead. I wanted to take advantage of the drop in price, and although ARK is not my number one conviction, I do want to put some money into it. Now, as far as what I'm going to do, going forward, I'm going to resume my $250 a week in the Palantir and $100 a week in the GEVO, at least for the time being. If we scroll up here, you will see I have a cash balance of $2,365. And every month or so, I put about $1,500 into the Fidelity portfolio. That's how I keep money coming in. Because keep in mind, in order for your portfolio to grow, the money's got to keep coming in. And so that's my plan for doing that. Now, on top of that, there are some additional changes I want to make in this portfolio. Now, if you have been watching me very closely over the past couple of weeks, you know that I sold Pfizer. And I'm not done selling stocks. And the reason I'm doing these selling of stocks has very little to do with, oh gosh, everything is crashing, I'm scared, let's just bail out. This may come as a shock to some of you guys, but I have a lot of stocks. Like, I own a lot of different companies. Right now, I'm down to 17 companies. And there are 2 companies on here that I'm looking to remove. And if I get my portfolio down to 15 different stocks, I think that's good. That's probably not great, but I think that's fair enough. Now, last year, I talked about maybe selling Bank of America or so. However, if we look at Bank of America, this was a stock I bought for primarily as a value stock and for dividends and stuff like that. However, Bank of America's got a bit of growth priced in, or not, maybe not this year, but next year as far as earnings per share. It's got a little bit of growth this year, next year as far as revenue. And then, the market's priced again 23.8% growth for the next 5 years, starting next year. And what I'm trying to say is, although Bank of America, I think bank stocks are really boring. I think Bank of America is really boring. I check the earnings every once in a while just to look at the numbers, make sure they're good, but I think bank stocks are boring. And I know that's part of it. I know that's the whole thing with value stocks, is that they are boring. But, there are some growth stocks I'm considering putting the money into. However, Bank of America I don't think Bank of America is on the list to sell this year. Now, I don't like timing the market. I'm trying not to do that so much, but with the Fed rate hikes coming, like, this might not be the year to sell it out of Bank of America. I may want to wait until next year or the year after and then sell out. But it is on the docket at some point in my life to get rid of this stock, but we'll see. Now, the stocks I'm planning on getting rid of, I'm considering, now, Johnson & Johnson and Realty. Now, I want you to stay with me for a second. I love both of these companies and both of these stocks. Now, I didn't know Johnson & Johnson has a space in the whole vaccine game, but I don't think it's quite to the level of Pfizer's bullshit. We'll just keep it like that. We'll just put it that way and leave it at that. But apart from the vaccine part, I'm a fan of Johnson & Johnson. I'm a fan of Realty. However, as far as its position in my portfolio, they take up very small positions. They are very small. I've only managed to buy 10 shares of Johnson & Johnson and 24 shares of Realty. And these aren't growth beasts. These are not growth beasts. These were meant for dividends and value stocks. And as far as the dividend output in Johnson & Johnson, like we're talking with 10 shares, where am I at here? 10 shares, 4.24 bucks a share. So every year, $40 in dividends. That going back into the stock, that's not going to grow my portfolio over any period of time. So what I'm trying to say is, like, my position is not built out with Johnson & Johnson and Realty. And I don't see these stocks, like, dropping anytime soon. And so, like, these right here are on my list to get rid of. Now, I wouldn't get rid of these if I didn't have, better opportunities out there. Now, I did mention when I was selling Pfizer that I wanted to rotate into dividend stocks because these are dividend stocks, and I want to keep that train up. However, I already put my Pfizer shares in AT&T and Verizon. AT&T is the one that's down right now, but right now AT&T has 12.2% of my portfolio. I don't want to weight my AT&T any more than it already is. And I don't know if I want to put more shares in Verizon. So if I'm going to get rid of these companies, and I'm 90% sure, I'm not quite there yet. If I do get rid of these companies, I want to have a place to put my money into. Now, I could just forego the dividends and put it into Palantir. Now, if we look at Palantir, let me get rid of this. Like, it's got some growth baked in. If you've been following Palantir for any period of time, you know there's some growth baked in. And with the Palantir's rise in revenue and EPS, and the fact that they will probably be profitable next year, like, Palantir it seems like a no-brainer. That's an idea. Now, Palantir doesn't pay dividends, but, as far as growing my portfolio, this seems like the place to go. However, another place I want to put my money, because when I sell out, we're talking roughly 3,300 and change as far as the proceeds. I could also put that money into all or partially into FedEx, because FedEx has dropped below my cost basis again. However, I don't want to, that's 3,300 into FedEx. I don't want to weight all of that into FedEx. Or I could not sell either of these and just wait. However, I don't think it's going to do much for my portfolio over time unless Realty suddenly shoots up or Johnson & Johnson suddenly shoots up for some reason. But anyways, I have the whole weekend to think about it, and I'll come to a decision Monday or Tuesday and act on it. As far as my my gains, I'm at 11.5% gains. I'll take it. We were doing so much better before Friday, but in this market, I'll take what I can get. But anyways, take care, have a great day, and eat your vegetables.